immense. He almost looks non-human. What we appear to be dealing with here is possibly an extraterrestrial being who took on a human existence. The story of Imhotep is fascinating, but he wasn't the only alien influencer in ancient Egypt. One of the most intriguing was a controversial pharaoh who worshipped a mysterious disc-shaped deity and was depicted with an elongated skull. At number 3, Akhenaten. Of the many pharaohs of ancient Egypt, none are more mysterious and controversial than Akhenaten. He ruled from 1353 BC until his death 17 years later. His reign was dominated by controversy when he abandoned the pantheon of old Egyptian gods and instead demanded that his subjects worship a single deity, the sun god, Aten.
Akhenaten was the most unique king in all of ancient Egypt. At a time where Egypt was most prosperous, he decided to change everything, to change Egypt's most strongest beliefs, to change religion.
Akhenaten announces there will be one God. They will be a monotheistic people. Aten, the sun god, would be the one divinity they all worshipped. The image is the sun disk. It shook the empire in really terrible ways.
Unlike the pantheon of anthropomorphic gods that had been worshipped for centuries, the god Aten was simply represented by a disc-shaped object. The Egyptian aristocracy was so confused and angered by Akhenaten's installation of this abstract deity that after his death, they went to extreme lengths to obliterate his legacy.
The ancient Egyptians did not want us to know anything about Akhenaten. You can only wonder, was it in fact to protect an even darker secret?
What secret could have inspired Akhenaten to make such drastic changes during a time of tremendous prosperity? Ancient astronaut theorists suggest there may have been an otherworldly influence. And as evidence, point not only to the disc-shaped god he worshipped, but also to the way he and his wife, Nefertiti, were depicted by artists of the time.
He and Nefertiti and the children all had elongated heads, as we see all around the world, and is often associated with extraterrestrials. Akhenaten has been suggested as possibly being an extraterrestrial or part extraterrestrial.
One has to wonder if Akhenaten may have been some type of an extraterrestrial hybrid, and perhaps that sun disk Aten that Akhenaten prayed to wasn't a sun in the sky at all, but it could have been an extraterrestrial that instructed Akhenaten. Account of otherworldly guidance occurred in the distant past. In fact, one alien influencer allegedly crash-landed on Earth in the 1950s and then shared the secrets of his technology with members of the US military. Number 2 on our countdown of the top 10 alien influencers, J-Rod.
Groom Lake, Nevada. Hidden within a ring of mountains, this dry lakebed is the location of Area 51, the nation's most infamous military installation. For decades, rumors have swirled that this top-secret facility is hiding not only extraterrestrial technology, but a living alien being known as J-Rod.
J-Rod is an alien who allegedly worked at Area 51 over a period of years to help reverse engineer extraterrestrial technology.
A number of government whistleblowers have come forward with the story that J-Rod was first discovered inside the cockpit of a downed alien craft. According to their accounts, on May 21st, 1953, government officials secretly gathered a team of scientists to investigate the crash of an unidentified flying object on the outskirts of Kingman, Arizona.
There were 40 engineers that boarded a bus, and they took a long 3.5-hour ride from Phoenix to Kingman. When they got there, it was nighttime. There were MPs on all corners of the craft. It's about a 40-foot diameter dish-shaped craft that was perfectly intact. There wasn't a scratch on it. There were 4 beings associated with this craft, and they shipped it to Groom Lake.
Groom Lake is the Area 51 region in Nevada. When Area 51 was just bare bones, they took the craft and the aliens out to that location in the middle of the Nevada desert because it was so remote. And around that, they built Area 51.
This is where the story of J-Rod originates. J-Rod survived and worked directly with our own government. And what's very interesting here is here we have an extraterrestrial in government custody. And he could certainly have all kinds of information to reveal. And what they are apparently talking about is technology and the reverse engineering of extraterrestrial technology.
One man who claimed to have worked with J-Rod is Captain Bill Uhouse, a former Air Force test pilot who was assigned to Area 51 in the mid-1960s.
We had a long period of introduction into meeting, you know, and I called him J-Rod. That's the name that the linguist gave him. And he would talk. He'd sound just like, if you spoke, he'd sound like him. You know, he's like one of the, a parrot. But he'd try and answer your question. Basically, it was only engineering advice or science advice.
Bill Uhouse said he met this being at least 10 times over a period of years, and he learned it was J-Rod's mission to help reverse engineer technology that was apparently from the 1953 Kingman UFO crash.
While the sensational account of Captain Bill Uhouse strikes many as outlandish, shortly after he came forward, a microbiologist named Dan Burish confirmed the claim.
There's another whistleblower by the name of Dan Burish. And Dan Burish said that he was hired as a microbiologist to basically care for J-Rod, ensuring that he remained healthy. And this went on for years and years and years.
According to Dan Burish and Bill Uhouse, J-Rod was housed in a special underground chamber at Area 51. And J-Rod was not the only extraterrestrial believed to be working with the United States government.
There's a lot of stories that we worked with the aliens at Area 51, and that they worked at the White House and the Pentagon as advisors, helping us to better our world, and they have been sharing information for us to enhance our technology.
This idea that actual physical extraterrestrials could potentially be influencing the course of the world is a possibility. I am sure there's envoys out there that do the same thing, not just on a planet, but in entire planetary systems. We're just moments away from revealing the top alien influencer on our countdown. And we've saved the best for last, because this one has had an impact across the whole world. We've reached the end of our countdown of the top 10 alien influencers. And this last one has led to a seismic shift in beliefs and attitudes towards the possibility that extraterrestrials are visiting Earth. At number 1 on our countdown, unidentified aerial phenomena.
December 16, 2017. The New York Times releases 3 videos that were recorded by U.S. fighter jets. The footage, which appears to show encounters between U.S. Navy aircraft and unidentified flying objects, was brought to them by government whistleblower Luis Elizondo.
Luis Elizondo is a former intelligence officer in the Department of Defense. From everything that we can see, he had a very stellar career, a very fine career. And in 2007, he was selected to run the ATIP program. So that's the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, the UFO program.
The release of the videos not only sparked a wave of interest about UFOs across the country, but forced lawmakers on Capitol Hill to take notice.
This was a real turning point in the United States because the New York Times basically said that, yeah, there are UFOs out there, the government's looking at them. It's actually an important investigation. This really shows that UFOs and the study of UFOs and the investigation has entered the mainstream.
The influence of the videos released by Elizondo emboldened other whistleblowers to come forward with evidence of UFOs, including Navy pilot David Fravor and former Area 51 engineer Bob Lazar. And in June 2023, former intelligence officer David Grush testified before Congress about a covert military program that has craft of non-human origin.
I was informed in the course of my official duties of a multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program.
The impact of the testimony of these whistleblowers has brought the idea of extraterrestrials visiting Earth into mainstream conversation. But as far as ancient astronaut theorists are concerned, this is no accident. They suggest that the dramatic influence the whistleblowers have had on the public is part of a plan by extraterrestrials.
What's really fascinating is that in the 1960s, Erich von Däniken proposed in Chariots of the Gods that aliens would show up when Earth civilization would reach a certain level of technology. And with everything that's going on right now, this may be the time when we will make contact.
Some thousands of years ago, the extraterrestrials promised to return in a faraway future. And we have good reasons to believe that now they are back. More and more of these proven UFO cases appear to the public. Before, it was never shown to the public. We know we are not alone. We are under observation. And it must be extraterrestrials because they show a technology which we do not have.
For the first time in history, members of Congress, senators, and the U.S. military are openly talking about the possibility of an extraterrestrial presence on Earth.
All of a sudden, since 2017, these stories have become front-page news. And it clearly shows that there was a type of a paradigm shift that's happened over the past 25 years. And for someone like me, it's incredible. The idea that extraterrestrials are deliberately revealing themselves to us is truly thrilling. But what's clear to ancient astronaut theorists is that we've had contact with alien influencers for thousands of years. From heavenly beings described in the Bible to strange and